Edwin has a chance, and it's gone! A walk-off home run for Brandon Inge. 23rd home run of the season, and the Tigers win it in walk-off fashion tonight. Well, after the euphoria of a walk-off win last night at Comerica Park, it is back to work here tonight, and the Tigers find their lead in the American League Central Division standings pretty much intact. They come into play tonight with a 2-game lead over Chicago, Minnesota 5 back. The White Sox have already won tonight. They have beaten Oakland 8-1, and Cleveland is leading Minnesota 7-2 in the top of the 8th. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, Rod Allen, glad to have you with us for Game 2 in this series. What an exciting win last night for the Tigers, Rod. A 1-0 walk-off victory, but you know what that means with the great pitching. It's up now to Edwin Jackson to follow the lead of Verlander and Washburn, and he can get it done. There's no question.
You know, one of the things that Jackson may have to do today, he may have to start pitching a little bit earlier in games, and what I mean by that is the opposing teams, last 3 times he's gone out there, they've really been concentrating on his fastball, and they've been hitting some of those fastballs and scoring runs against Edwin. So what he may have to do today, go to some of those secondary pitches, go to the changeups to make this a little bit easier for him. When you look at Kansas City as a team, they're at the bottom as far as batting average is concerned, but sometimes you got to throw numbers out when you're going up against a big league team. But at home this year, in 10 starts, Edwin has been simply stellar, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball.
All right, now the Tigers coming to play tonight, 19 games over the 500 mark here at Comerica Park. There's no question they play very well here, but it's not hard to figure out why. This team just knows how to pitch to this ballpark, and they've been great.
Well, when you got a spacious center field behind you, 420 feet, you learn to pitch to that. Also, you have some infielders that are catching the ball, and they're always positioned in the right spot. So when you have all those components, that's when you get a team that's playing this kind of baseball at home. Take a look at the wins, 37, that's third in the American League. The earned run average, that's first. Opponent's batting average is first, and they've also twirled 4 shutouts. So this team's been flat out getting it done here at Comerica Park.
And the Tigers have been flat out getting it done against the Royals. They've played 10 games so far in the season series. Tigers have won 7 of those. They'll try and get their 8th victory tonight against the Royals coming up in this one. It's been all about pitching for the Tigers. On Thursday night, Verlander, 8 shutout innings against the Red Sox. Last night, Washburn, 8 shutout innings against the Royals. It is Jackson's turn tonight. Brought to you by Comerica Bank, standing the test of time since 1849. Your Motor City Dodge dealers. Comcast Pressed On Demand and your Comcast remote open up a world of choices. And by Arby's Bacon Cheddar Roast Burger Sandwich. Try it today. It'll have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's. The 15th annual Dream Cruise up and down Woodward Avenue here in the Motor City. And a beautiful day it was indeed for the Dream Cruise. 84 degrees right now here at the ballpark as we welcome you inside Comerica Park in downtown Detroit. Great night for baseball as the Tigers try and make it 2 straight against these Kansas City Royals. By the way, if Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, make sure you bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location. You can do that tomorrow and get a free regular roast beef sandwich. You can find a copy of the box score in your local newspaper or at foxsports.com in the Major League Baseball section. Well, Edwin Jackson getting set to make another start here for the Tigers, trying to follow the lead of Verlander a couple of days ago in Boston, and then Washburn last night with 8 shutout innings as well. And Jackson will face this lineup that Trey Hillman has turned in here tonight. We'll check out the starting 9 for the Kansas City Royals. It is brought to you by the Romani Eye Institute, and it features David DeJesus leading off in left field. Mitch Meyer, the Novi kid, is out in center field batting second. Billy Butler hitting third. Mike Jacobs, the DH, is cleaning up. Alberto Callaspo at second base. Mark Teahan is in right field. Ryan Pena, Alex Gordon, and Unieski Betancourt, the bottom 3 for Trey Hillman here this evening. The Dodge scouting report tonight features the right-hander Edwin Jackson.
Well, Edwin may as well go ahead and stay out there for a while. In 2 of his last 3 starts, he's only lasted 4 innings, but has thrown at least 100 pitches in 2 of those 3 starts. He has done everything but get wins. Only a couple of wins for Edwin in the last 11 times he's taken the rubber for the Tigers, despite just having some tremendous secondary numbers, and needs to feed off the other starters. Verlander rolled a gem in Boston, and Washburn was outstanding last night. Competition friendly going on between Tigers starters now. Let's take a look at the Tigers defense presented by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores. You've got Timms, Granderson, Thomas in the outfield. You've got Inge, the hero in last night's game, at third. Santiago, Polanco, Cabrera. And round out the infield, Alex Avila is the catcher tonight, and Jackson, as we told you, on the bump.
Well, Edwin's numbers this year, as you mentioned, he doesn't have a lot of victories, only because he really hasn't received a lot of support, but overall those numbers still very good.
Opponent's batting average against him this year is .226, which is first in the American League. But take a look at the earned run average, 2.79, which is tremendous, especially in the American League.
So Edwin Jackson set to go to work tonight on an 84-degree night here in the Motor City. Clear skies as well. Another big crowd filing in for Saturday night baseball here in Detroit. And David DeJesus settling into the batter's box for the Kansas City Royals. It'll be DeJesus, Meyer, and Butler as the Tigers try and pick up another victory here this evening. And for Detroit, they will be gunning not only to maybe pad their lead in the Central, but also their 62nd win of the year. Jackson ready to go to work, and here we go. The first pitch of the ball game is in there, a strike on the outer edge, 0-1. DeJesus was hitless in the ball game last night, 0 for 4. Batting .263 on the year. And Jackson's 0-1 pitch. Way high. Up and around the bill of the cap, 1 ball and 1 strike. Edwin career against these Royals is 2-2 with a 4.30 ERA. And now the 1-1 pitch. It's lifted in the air toward left field. Right at Marcus Thames, and that's a good start tonight. 1 up, 1 away. Marcus in the sunlight out there at left field. Still has the shades on. That'll bring up the center fielder Mitch Meyer batting in the 2 slot. Meyer is a .240 hitter with 16 RBIs. He's been up and down a couple of times this year between AAA and the big leagues. And there's a strike right down the middle of the plate, 0-1. Mitch Meyer has been relatively hot in his last 12 games, batting at a .367 clip. The 0-1 pitch. Little popped into shallow left center field, slicing in front of Marcus Thames, and it's a 1-out single for Meyer. First hit of the ball game for Kansas City. The Royals had to wait until the middle of the game last night to get their first hit, a 2-out single in the 5th inning.
Well, if you work at the bottom of the strike zone against a dangerous hitter now standing in the batter's box, Billy Butler,
And Jackson can get himself that ground ball, get the double play, and get out of the inning. Butler has grounded into 15 of those bad boys this year.
297 average with 59 RBIs. Butler has also been a doubles machine. He is second in the American League, and a ground ball here would be nice. Backs him out of there. Does Jackson 1-0. Butler has hit really everywhere he has been, whether it's been college, in the minor leagues. A prolific hitter in the minor leagues. Didn't spend a whole lot of time down there. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I talked about Jackson in our opening, the fact that he would need to throw some of his secondary pitches early in this game, because apparently opposing teams are really starting to zero in his fastball real early. So that's a really good pitch there to a really good hitter in a fastball count. He changed speeds on it.
We saw that a lot in Boston, didn't we?
Yes.
Catching up to his fastball early.
That Boston team, they fouled off a lot of the pitches that Jackson threw in that game as well, which is what a lot of teams do against Jackson. Also Verlander. The guys that are overpowering with their fastball.
One ball, 1 strike on Billy Butler. Inside again. 2-1. So Jackson, as we mentioned, very good here at home. 5-0 at Comerica Park, an ERA a shade over 2 in his last 7 starts in this ballpark. And we saw Jared Washburn last night use that big center field to his advantage. Got a lot of fly balls to the deepest part of the park. Now the 2-1. Good pitch on the inside part of the plate. 2-2 on Billy Butler.
And by Jackson throwing that 1-0 off-speed pitch, kind of set up that 2-1 fastball. Butler did not think he was going to get the fastball, therefore he took one right down the middle.
Butler has been struggling a bit of late. 3 for his last 17. He did walk in the ball game last night. Jackson's throw is tardy as Meyer gets back in. Alex Avila behind the plate, flashing the signals tonight. So the rookie who has not caught Jackson yet in the regular season. It's another quick throw, and that one was awfully close.
Meyer was running on that 2-2 pitch. He took a couple of steps, at least one jab step towards second. You can see he's off and running. And Jackson makes a nice throw over there, but Meyer able to get back in there.
Paul Nart, the first base umpire, right on the call. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and it's swung on, driven in the air. Deep into left center field. Granderson on the run, still going back. This ball is going to carry out. It's gone. A home run for Billy Butler. A 2-run shot puts the Royals on the board early. Number 14 for Butler. Nothing Kansas City. So that was well over 400 feet.
And first swing that Billy Butler took looked like a slider. And they kind of stayed up on the outside part of the plate. And it was right where he liked it.
410 feet on that home run by Butler. His 14th RBIs, 60 and 61. Jackson comes back with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball to Mike Jacobs. No balls in 1 strike.
That is now 8 straight starts where Jackson has at least allowed 1 home run. But when you throw as hard as he does, every now and then you're going to give up a few.
Edwin gave up a total of 9 hits and 4 runs in 4 innings in his last start against the Boston Red Sox. Tigers pitching, by the way, had a 21-inning scoreless streak coming into this game, so that has come to a crashing halt on the 2-run homer by Butler here in the first. All started with Verlander in Boston. The 2-1. Now 3 balls, 1 strike on Mike Jacobs. Jared Washburn with 8 scoreless in the ball game last night. Gave up just 3 hits. Pretty economical as well. Threw 107 pitches. 3-1 pitch. Back up the middle and caught by the shortstop Santiago. They had him played to pull and he had to run back to get that one. 2 gone. That'll bring up Alberto Callaspo. Callaspo, a .304 hitter. He's had himself a nice year despite an 0 for 3 last night. Right at the knees for strike 1. By the way, that home run now gives opponents 78 first inning runs against 62 for the Tigers. So the Tigers have been outscored by a pretty good margin in the first inning this year. That sliced to the shortstop and right at Santiago to end the inning. Only get a couple of runs on the home run by Butler. We'll go to the bottom of the first. 2-0 KC. Had the big hit last night. The Tigers lineup brought to you by Big Boy. Curtis Granderson leads it off in center field, followed by Placido Polanco. Clee Thomas in right. Miguel Cabrera is at first base. Carlos Guillen, the DH tonight. Marcus out in the left field. Avila, Inge, and Santiago are your bottom 3 in the Tigers starting lineup. The Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on Luke Hochevar of the Royals. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
Hochevar started the season in the minor leagues for the Royals and was sensational, but when he got called up, he struggled the first time around, got sent back down, but has been much better since coming back. He was the first overall pick in the 2006 draft, and they tell me he's added a forkball to his repertoire. Go along with the fastball, the curve, the slider, and the change. Now throwing a fork because the pitching coach believes that it's a little too hard to change up. Bob McClure.
Curtis Granderson leads it off. And that's grounded foul right to Andy Van Slyke, and a nice pick. We'll find a recipient for the souvenir. There you go. My little guy's happy. No balls, 2 strikes on Granderson. Hochevar bends a breaking ball down low, 1-2. Hochevar, 25 years old. He's a big guy, 6'5", 205. Here's the 1-2 pitch. He has somewhat of an odd delivery, and he stands on the rubber with his feet spread apart. You don't see too many guys with this type of delivery.
He does look different out there.
The 2-2. Randy gets a piece of it to stay alive.
Looks like he's following the advice of the pitching coach, Bob McClure, who wanted him to pitch more in the first inning, not just zero in on fastballs and save other pitches for later on in the game, but use all of your pitches in the very first inning so that you can get off to a good start. He has thrown Granderson several breaking balls.
There's another one fouled back. The first overall pick of the Royals in 2006. It was a draft that produced quite a bit of pitching talent.
That it did. Real good hitter, too.
In the air toward left field, hit well. DeJesus on the run. He'll go to the warning track to make the catch. One gone.
Let's take a look at the Honda Bloomfield defense that Trey Hillman, the manager of the Kansas City Royals, is running out there tonight. You've got Meyer in center, DeJesus in 10. They were in there last night. Gordon at third. Betancourt, Cayaspo, Butler round out the infield. And Brian Pena is catching tonight.
Hochevar making his 16th start, one complete game to his credit this year. ERA of over 5. Blanco stands in, looks at a ball inside.
Hochevar gave up back-to-back home runs his last start against the Oakland A's. Ryan Sweeney took him deep, and so did Bobby Crosby. As a matter of fact, there are back-to-back pitches. Those were the only 4 runs he gave up in that last start.
We're talking about some of that talent that came out of that first round in 06 pitching wise. Clayton Kershaw was in the first round. So was Lincecum that year.
Andrew Miller.
Daniel Bard was also selected in the first round. Another breaking ball. This one drops in for a strike.
That hitter that I was talking about was Evan Longoria. He was also in that draft.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
2-1 on Placido Polanco. There's another strike, 2-2.
And Tigers were expecting to get lots of fastballs here in the first inning from Hochevar, but as I mentioned, he's throwing quite a few of the secondary pitches. Sliders, curves, change to go along with the fastball. That's real firm at 90 miles an hour.
There it was, and it's hit in the air to right center. Hit pretty well, but it's going to be run down by Mitch Meyer. Again to the warning track the other way. Polanco gave it a ride. 2 gone. We'll bring up Clete Thomas. Thomas battling it a bit right now. He's 0 for his last 13. Clete in the ball game last night struck out 3 times against Zach Greinke, who certainly deserved a better fate last night.
Boy, is he good.
Then again, Washburn did as well. He did not receive a decision either. But it was a dandy of a pitching duel last evening. Here's the 0-1. In the air towards shallow left. DeJesus. It'll drop in front of him. 2-out single.
This is a combination that you can run on. Although be careful, because Hochevar has a very quick move. He's already picked off a few this year, but when you try to steal a base off of him, you can get a pretty good jump.
So here is Cabrera, who right now has to be licking his chops. He's 5 for 6 career against Hochevar with 3 RBIs. Cabrera right now is 4th in the American League with a .324 average. That bounces in and stopped by Pena before the runner could advance.
I guess it's always a risky proposition, though, if you're Jim Leland and you decide to steal Clete Thomas here. If he steals the base successfully, and then you open up first base, a place for a parking spot for the Royals to put Cabrera, should they choose to do so.
An event actually just taking the bat out of his hands. Clete not going anywhere in the next pitch, and there's a strike, 1-1.
Lots of breaking balls already today from Luke.
Well, Cabrera had a 17-game hitting streak in the month of July. Leads the Tigers with 67 RBIs. Ground ball left side, deep in the hole. Diving stop by Betancourt. His throw is not going to be in time. Terrific play out there at shortstop by Unieski. Betancourt, but little chance even to get Cabrera, who is not very fleet of foot.
Unieski was playing for the Seattle Mariners, and all we heard out of the Mariners camp was that he was going to be a Gold Glove defender because he had tremendous range at that position, and he also has a very strong throwing arm. But from one knee, not able to get anything on the throw to throw out Cabrera. But he did show some very nice range.
It's a sweet-looking Exmo. 2 on, 2 out. Here is Carlos Guillen. Tying runs are on here. 2-0 Royals in the first. Carlos last night 0 for 2. And a running fastball missed inside, 1-0. Thomas, the runner at second. Cabrera is at first. Carlos has hit .274 since his return from the disabled list. 1-1.
That's a good two-seam fastball right there by Hochevar. That ball had a little late life to it. A little running action away from Carlos Guillen. He also has a four-seam fastball, which is a straight fastball that he can go up to 94, 95 miles an hour with. That last fastball was 91 that he threw to Carlos.
Now the 1-1. Driven to right field, sinking, and it's going to drop a base hit. Here comes Thomas rounding third. They're going to try and score him, and he will. Throw back to second, not in time. It's an RBI single for Carlos Guillen. Tian almost got to that ball.
Boy, if this ball gets past 10, yeah, Carlos is still running. But he came in, tried to make a nice catch, and he got it on one short hop, and he fired a strike, and Billy Butler cut that ball. I don't know if they really had a shot at Thomas or if the ball was offline or what, but that was a nice firm throw by Tian. But by Butler cutting it, obviously no play at home.
So the Tigers are on the board, 2 on with 2 outs. A run in for Marcus Thames. But Tian did play that ball dangerously, didn't he?
Dangerous.
There is nobody there to back him up, and it goes to the wall and at least scores 2. Tigers now have their 3rd hit this inning. Thames is hit safely in his last 4. He went around, a strike called, 0-2.
First time Hochevar was in the big leagues, he struggled getting that 3rd out, putting teams away after getting 2 quick outs, and he has struggled here today trying to get that 3rd out. He's given up 3 consecutive singles after flyouts by Granderson and Polanco. That 3rd out sometimes for all pitchers sometimes is the toughest to get.
Edwin Jackson has watched his teammates get him a run back after surrendering the 2-run homer to Billy Butler in the top of the 1st inning. The 0-2 is going to bounce in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Speaking of Butler, I think I mentioned in the 1st inning that he hit at every level, including college. He never played college ball, so I want to correct that. He went straight from high school to professional baseball.
He's hitting like he played in college.
He sure is.
Usually kids coming out of high school don't hit like Billy Butler.
1-2. Butler has put their team on top early. Back into center field. That's a base hit. Here comes Cabrera. They're going to send him home. Myers' throw is cut off. The run will score. Guillen is in a rundown. Betancourt will run him back to third base. And now the tag is made, but the Tigers will tie it up. Marcus Thames, an RBI single. And after 1, it's a 2-2 game.
himself up because he thinks there's going to be a play on Cabrera at home. You could see that throw would have been a little offline. If Carlos could do it all over again, he may not give himself up here for the good of the team to score a run. It's not all bad when you know for sure it's going to be a bang-bang play at home to give yourself up because you know the run's going to score. But I don't know if they would have got Cabrera there.
Yeah, it looked like the throw was definitely offline. And it worked out all right. Tigers got the tying run. 2-2 is our score. Jackson back even now as he goes to the mound in the second, facing Mark Teahan, Brian Pena, and then Alex Gordon. If you're keeping score at home, which I know a lot of you do, single RBI, and the putout goes 8-3, 5-6-3. 0-2 on Mark Teahan. 1 for 3 in the ball game last night for Teahan. The 0-2 is fouled back out of play. Teahan's been all over the place, hasn't he, defensively?
Yes, he has.
Played some third, some outfield, second, fouled straight back.
Well, when he first came to the big leagues, he came to the big leagues as a third baseman. And then he moved to the corner spots in the outfield, left and right. And this year, opening day, he was their second baseman.
He has settled into right field in this game. Again, the 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Jackson dusting him off with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That is his first strikeout of the ball game. And by the way, this game tonight is available in crystal clear, stunning high definition on Fox Sports Detroit HD, sponsored by Comcast.
That last fastball by Jackson with 2 strikes is tough for hitters to lay off of. If you could throw it up around the letters, most guys are trying to cheat for the fastball anyway, and you can get away with that pitch. Verlander got away with that pitch all day against Boston a couple of days ago.
Here is Brian Pena. Well, we often say it, but the Tigers have so many power arms on this staff, both in the rotation and in the pen. 96 there from Jackson. Verlander was throwing 100 miles an hour at the end of the game the other day in Boston.
It's a nice luxury to have, that is for sure. And power pitching can get you into the postseason, and then once you get there, it can get you through the postseason.
2 balls, 1 strike on Pena.
That's why the team that always has the best pitching usually wins the championship.
Agreed.
It's not usually the team with the best offense. And whoever is pitching and who's hot usually will win the championship.
Yeah, I think you said the key word there too. Whoever is hot, because it certainly was good for the Cardinals to be playing their best baseball going in the World Series a couple of years ago. The Tigers had that week layoff.
Did not help them because they were hot up until that point.
That guy right there, Jared Washburn, should help the Tigers immensely down the stretch. He certainly did last night. Bouncing ball foul, third base side.
Well, Washburn's got some postseason experience as well.
Well, as we look at the Central, Chicago was able to get a victory today. In fact, they've beaten the A's now 2 straight days. Minnesota 5.5 out. They were defeated by Cleveland. Thank you very much, Indians. The 2-2 is hit back toward the second baseman. On the charge, Polanco. 2 gone.
I've heard some experts say the last few days that really you shouldn't concentrate on the games back, but you should concentrate on the win-loss column, the loss column. Have you heard that?
Yes,
if
I
you have heard that, could you validate that for me, sir, please?
Well, I guess it's all in the way you look at it, but ultimately you're going to end up playing the same amount of games as everybody else. So where you stand in the standings is not really quite as important as where you are in terms of how many losses behind a team that you are.
Thank you.
But do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you.
High fly ball into left field. Marcus Thames cruising over. Much better second inning for Mr. Jackson. A 1-2-3 frame. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. ballpark. Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline looking on. Which, by the way, kind of fits into our text poll question tonight. Text A, B, C, or D to 37338. Besides Al Kaline, which Tiger had the best rookie season? Was it Fidrich, Trammell, Whitaker, or Verlander? 37338. A, B, C, or D. And we'll update the results. And, of course, we'll get you the final results on Tigers Live once this one is in the books. Here is Alex Avila leading it off. It'll be Avila, Inge, and then Santiago. Been quite a start to the big league career of Avila. 6 for 14. He's hit his first big league home run.
He's sitting in a real nice fastball count here as well. If you get it, young man, don't miss it.
2-1. He got himself a heater, but came up empty.
Two-seam variety. That ball had a little movement to it, a little late life. But when you get yourselves in these types of counts, predictable fastball counts, you have to really concentrate.
Shattered his bat. Look out. That is a foul ball. The barrel went sailing by Hochevar. So Avila will need a new work glove, and he'll go back and doctor a new one up.
Looked like he hit that ball right off the end of the bat. Let's see how much late life he has on this fastball. That was a sinker ball down and in.
2-2 on Avila. Alex this year at Double-A hit 12 home runs, knocked in 55. And the 2-2. Jim Leland's plan initially was to have Gerald Laird catch Jackson and Verlander, but Avila getting a chance to catch Edwin tonight. And he has showed that he can be a spark offensively, at least to this point. But he goes down swinging here, one gone. Hochevar has his first strikeout. They'll bring up Brandon Inge, who is sure to get a big round of applause. Walk-off home run last night gave the Tigers a 1-0 win. It was his 4th walk-off home run. 23 for the year in the home run column. Boy, Hochevar does have a lot of movement, doesn't he?
He does. That two-seam fastball is a real good pitch for him.
Off speed, missing high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Bob McClure, the pitching coach, was saying before the game that he feels like Hochevar's changeup is way too hard. And therefore, they've started to tinker with, and he is now throwing a forkball on occasion. Not too many, but he will throw a few of those today.
Here's the 1-2. So if your fastball, say, is 94, 95, what speed would an effective changeup be?
Usually 10-mile differential.
Mid-80s, huh?
Yes. But the key is you have to come from the same arm slot with the same arm speed. Because if you slow your arm speed down, that tips to the hitters that something off speed is coming. That's why Verlander's changeup is so good and Rodney's changeup is so good. Is because they both have mid to upper 90s fastballs, but they come out of the same slot with the changeup, and you really can't tell that it's a changeup when it comes out of their hand.
Swing and a miss. Awkward swing for Brandon Inge. Down he goes, and the second strikeout for Hochevar. So 2 away. He's going to bring up Santiago. Ramon batting .246. His numbers at home, though, have been much better this year. .308 here at Comerica Park. Ball down low, 1-0. Tigers 2 runs, 4 hits. Royals 2 runs, 2 hits. We're in the second. Now the 1-0. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hochevar attended Tennessee. In fact, he was the first ever #1 overall selection in Tennessee's history. 3-year standout there. Won 25 games for the Volunteers. And then, of course, the Royals made him #1 overall in 2006. That one misses low again.
No disrespect to Hochevar, but at the time of the draft, there were some other players out there that baseball people thought were better than him, but the Royals simply chose the guy they felt they had the best opportunity to sign.
And that comes into play, I think, a lot in the draft, doesn't it?
Yes, and in small markets especially.
Yeah.
And Dayton Moore was not the general manager at the time, and he is now the general manager, and he has passed out a few dollars, so I'm sure they're not passing over any prospects these days in the draft.
That's pulled in the air down the right field line and hit well. It is hooking, and that ball is gone. How about Santiago? #7 this year for Ramon, and the Tigers take the lead.
Salary drive for Ramon.
Apparently so.
It's about that time.
Sneaky power. RBI number 30 on the year.
Hochevar has thrown a lot of breaking balls already in this game. He's given up a couple of hits on RBIs, one again, and this is a breaking ball, and he speeds up Santiago's bat. Santiago catches it just right, and he flips it out of here, right by the Bell Tire sign out there.
328 feet on that one. No, what was it? 368, I beg your pardon. 368 on that home run.
He is breaking ball happy today.
Nothing but, it seems. Aside from those two-seamers that keep diving out of the strike zone, a wave and a miss by Granderson, and the count is 0-2.
And Tigers have scored all 3 of their runs here tonight after 2 were out.
Grandy fly to left field back in the first inning. Was 2 for 3 in the ball game last night. Had a single, a double, and a walk. There's the guy on the left leading your team in homers. The guy on the right just hit one. Santiago. Ramon hanging out with the big boys now that he's gone deep. Might as well sit next to Cabrera on the bench. Hochevar with a deep breath. And the 2-2. Well, we talked about the fact that he was a much better hitter at home, and there you go. Hitting .316 with this home run.
I guess it kind of coincides with the entire team. Everybody plays much better in comfy Comerica Park.
That's the 3rd strikeout for Hochevar, but the Tigers take the lead. You came in, that's a promise. And by AT&T, your world delivered. Sweet rise of the Dream Cruise down Woodward today. The yearly event here in the Motor City. Tigers with a 3-2 lead on the home run by Santiago. They fell behind 2-0 tonight, but now have the advantage. Any of those your car, Brad?
I wish I could afford one of those bad boys.
There's your hero so far, Santiago, putting the Tigers ahead, and now Edwin Jackson back to work facing Betancourt, and then DeJesus and Mitch Meyer. Jackson surrendered the 2-run homer to Butler in the first, but since has been good. 5 in a row retired. Unieski Betancourt in his first year with the Royals started the season with Seattle, the team that he broke in with, and played no fewer than 153 games the last 3 years there. Their everyday shortstop. 2-0 misses way high. 3 balls, no strikes. And he missed on 4 straight. Leadoff walk, first of the game for the right-hander.
Hey fans, everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football with more customizable features and new ways to play. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN and join the next generation of fantasy football.
Leadoff man on. Here's the top of the order now, David DeJesus. DeJesus flying to left field back in the first inning, 0 for 1. Tigers now had 5 hits, and the Royals have 2. Showing bunt, drops one down. It's a good one. Avila will not get there in time. Nice stop there by Cabrera.
A little miscommunication there between Jackson and Avila, but I don't think they get DeJesus if they communicate properly. It looked like Jackson was going for it. Avila called him off, and by the time Alex got in turned and firing, there was no play. It's a nice job by DeJesus. Perfect bunt. Couldn't have rolled it out there any better.
Two on, nobody out, and here is Mitch Meyer. Meyer had a single and scored ahead of the home run by Butler in the first. 1-0.
Be careful here. Make sure if you do throw another fastball, you locate it well. And just because Meyer was squaring the bunt on that first pitch does not mean he's doing it on the next pitch.
And he wasn't. Big swing, 1-1.
And those are some of the mind games that managers will play with one another. Or should I say manager playing mind games with the young catcher, Avila, and Jackson, because you don't get a whole lot past Mr. Leland. He has forgotten more baseball than most of us know.
Fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Mitch Meyer, who was recalled on July the 23rd when the Royals had to put Jose Guillen on the disabled list. And this is a team, this Royals team, that has been decimated by injuries this year. Coco Crisp is out, so DeJesus has had to bat leadoff. Mike Avilas, Alex Gordon has been out, and now Guillen. Mesh has been banged up. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout there to the right-hander.
That's one of the things that Jackson has, Verlander has. We saw Greinke do it last night. When they need to reach back and get a little extra, they've got it in their back pocket. And that fastball was 96 miles an hour.
So here is the reigning American League Player of the Week from last week when he hit .538, Billy Butler, who homered back in the first.
Billy likes to swing at the first pitch as well, so you need to be careful anytime you're trying to attack him with a quality strike to get ahead. He usually does not allow it.
Skies this one in the air, a mile high into shallow left field. 3 Tigers converge, and Brandon Inge has a tough play, but he called it and went out there and got it.
Usually that's the ball the shortstop will take. He's got a better angle than the third baseman, but Brandon is so good and going into the outfield, making these types of plays, that he called off Santiago after Santiago initially called the play. I mean, shortstops usually call these balls and they call their third baseman off, but Brandon's not your everyday third baseman. He's got some nice feet there, and he's got some tremendous range at that position as well.
It's just amazing how he seems to make that play look so routine and does it on a nightly basis.
He's gifted.
Here's Mike Jacobs. Jackson now trying to strand these two runners. And that's skied in the air. Looks like he's going to do it. Shallow center field. Granderson waiting in the side, retired. So no damage done. Royals strand 2, 2.5 in the books. Tigers on top in this one. They fell behind 2-0. Now lead 3-2. And back here at the ballpark tonight, it's been an entertaining first couple of innings here. If you like offense, it'll be Polanco, Thomas, and Cabrera here in the bottom of the third, facing Luke Hochevar. Polanco fly to center his first time up, 0 for 1, and batting .271. 2 balls, no strikes. Hochevar comes from a very athletic family. In fact, his father Brian played with the Denver Nuggets back in 1979, the late 70s. And a couple of other members of his family. His mother played college basketball. His sister, an All-American volleyball player at Long Beach State. So they've got it all covered in the Hochevar family. Luke played some high school basketball. Was a very good player as well. 2-2 on Polanco.
He's got a nice pitcher's body for sure. 6 feet 5 inches.
Only 25 years old. He'll be 26 in September. Out of Denver, Colorado. Hochevar's 2-2 pitch. Rolled foul. Now the 2-2 offering. Into left center field. That's going to get down a base hit. Meyer over there to cut it off. Polanco trying for 2. And the throw will be tardy. It was cut off. It'll be a leadoff 2-base hit. A hustling double for Polanco.
You kind of do a hitter like Polanco a favor when you throw him a breaking ball at the bottom of the strike zone with 2 strikes. He's not going to strike out. But once he hits this ball in the left center field, he knew that Meyer had to aggressively go to his right And it was going to be very tough for him to get this ball, stop on a dime, and throw the ball back to second to throw him out. So he was thinking 2 out of the batter's box, and he got there with a slide.
And now an opportunity for the Tigers to get another run. Very aggressive base running for Polanco, who picks up the 2-base hit.
Well, Cleet's got a job to do. Either get him over or drive him in. And sometimes if you're not swinging well, and Cleet's really not swinging all that well right now, go ahead and drop a bunt down. Make sure you get him over there.
Thomas had a base hit in the first and eventually scored a run. The 0-1 pitch. That sinks low and out of the strike zone. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Cleet was talking about that home run Brandon Inge hit to end the ball game in the 9th yesterday. And he and Curtis Granderson were getting ready to jump over the railing, and they jumped over. Then they paused. He said the ball seemed like it stayed in the air forever.
It got out, though, and that's the important thing. 1-2 on Thomas. Cleat single back in the first, snapped an 0 for 13. Fouled it off, stays alive. Cleat's last home run was on August 3rd against the Orioles, and that was of the walk-off variety, so he knows what that feeling is like. Tigers got one last night from Inge. The 1-2 is high. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Cleat Thomas. Tell you what, Leland, though, has stayed with him in that number 3 spot in the lineup.
He likes Cleat. He's got a lot of confidence in Cleat. He also provides him with a left-hander that bats third. Kind of splits up Cabrera and Guillen.
Tigers have 6 hits already in this game with the Polanco double here in the 3rd inning. Pena down to block it. And the count now goes to 3-2, so Cleat has worked it in his favor. Cabrera waiting on deck. Tigers fell behind 2-0, now lead 3-2. That's in the air toward left field. Routine play for David DeJesus. And Polanco does not move up, so Thomas unable to advance him. 1 gone. The chance now for Cabrera.
Telling you last half inning how much Billy Butler likes to swing at the first pitch. Cabrera is cut from that same mold. If you give him something that he can get loose on the very first pitch of any at bat, he's letting her go.
Breaking ball is in there.
Backed up breaking ball there. The ball stayed up and in.
Hochevar's had a couple of really good games that have stood out this year. He's had a 13 strikeout game. That was on the 25th of July against Texas. 13 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody in that game. That's driven to center field. That's going to drop. Base hit. Polanco coming around third. They're going to send him home, and he is safe at home plate. It's an RBI single for Miguel Cabrera. Polanco finds his way to his feet.
Looked like he slid right into the shin guards of Brian Pena. Like a little two-seam fastball that Cabrera got his hands inside on and laced a solid single to center field. Meyer comes up and just airmails everybody. One hopper to Pena. And you can see Pena kind of sticking that left leg out as Polanco starts to slide. Shin guards do not feel good.
Probably had to reach back for the plate. But he's in there, and it's 4-2 now, Detroit. Here is Carlos Guillen. Tigers starting to pile up the hits. That is their 7th. Ochaver has one play. Guillen is out as Cabrera gets to second. 2 gone for Marcus Thames. Tigers now have scored in every inning. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and a 1 in the third. And typically they have not given Edwin Jackson too much run support, but they come out swinging the bats here tonight. Jackson gave up the home run early, but nothing since. Here's Marcus. He singled in a run. That was back in the first. The 0-1. Pulled to third base, deep behind the bag. Gordon. He's played almost on the outfield grass. Marcus is gone. Tigers get another run. 3 in the books here at Comerica. 4-2 Detroit. Race for the pennant ticket package today. Receive priority to select postseason games. You can call 313-471-BALL or visit Tigers.com. Either way, you'll get her done. The race for the pennant 15-game ticket package, a must-have. Boy, those were some great days, and hopefully more of those days to come here in 2009.
Nothing like a celebration, especially that type of celebration.
Edwin Jackson back to the hill as we travel to the 4th inning, and it'll be Alberto Callaspo leading it off. First pitch from Jackson, missing high.
What's Kid Rock say? Ain't no party like a Detroit party.
Absolutely. And he is 100% correct.
I haven't seen him out here this year.
I haven't either. I know he played a concert here while we were on the road. Oh, he was here opening day, 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, but he usually makes multiple trips out here.
Yeah. Busy guy. Grounded foul down the first base line. 2-1 on Alberto Callaspo. Mark Teahan to follow, and then Brian Pena here in the 4th inning. Tigers with a 4-2 lead. They've out-hit the opposition tonight 7-3. Jackson stranded a couple of runners back in the 3rd. Driven to center field. That'll drop. Base hit.
He can hit. Callaspo can hit.
Well, time to cue the duck. Affleck time, I think. Duck took his time tonight, but he's here. That's okay. What former Tiger holds the major league record for home runs in the month of August? Now they're either giving us a hint.
No.
Or they're messing with us.
Yes, absolutely.
So you're not buying.
I'm not going to buy that.
You're not buying Greenberg?
I'm going to say whoever it is does not have a statue here.
Really?
Exactly.
Here's Mark Teahan. Answer, of course, is always coming up in the bottom of the fourth. Teahan struck out back in the second. Teahan, speaking of home runs, went through a home run drought in the month of July. He did not hit a single one, and in fact hasn't had a homer since June the 26th. Now, Teahan's never really been a huge power guy, but he has 9 this year. And for a guy his size, I don't know, you would think that he would hit more home runs, but that's not a big part of his game.
Well, they thought he was going to be a middle of the order guy.
Rolled toward first, that's foul. One ball and 2 strikes on Mark Teahan. Leadoff single here against Jackson in the fourth. 4 hits tonight for the Royals. 2 of those came in the first inning. Alex Avila flashing the signals. Swing and a miss. The Teahan is out of there. Strikeout number 3 now for Jackson.
Yeah, the youngster called for the fastball inside, and Jackson threaded the needle. And with real good velocity.
He's going to bring up Brian Pena. Pena is 0 for 1 with a ground ball. Pena has a rather sturdy body type. In fact, he was a wrestler in high school.
Was he?
Yeah. Native of Cuba, he defected to Venezuela from Cuba back in 2000. He was a childhood friend, by the way, of Yunel Escobar, who was the shortstop for the Atlanta Braves. Born in Havana, Cuba. 5'11", 210. Pena. Now the 0-1. In the air to center field, shallow center field. It might drop, and it will. Tem's going to come over to play it from left. A broken bat, bloop single for Brian Pena. So the Royals now put 2 aboard. That is their 5th hit of the game. It'll bring up Alex Gordon. Gordon's still trying to find his stroke after coming off the disabled list. He missed 79 games with the hip surgery. And batting just .213 right now. Fastball at 96, right at the knees, 0-1. Callaspo and Pena, the base runners, with 1 out. Gordon flied out his first time, and he takes a little bit outside. 97 that time from Jackson. 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike.
He has thrown Gordon 3 straight fastballs in the mid-90s. And 2-1, if he has the confidence to do so, he can throw a changeup or a breaking ball, but he has to get it down. And if he does so, he can get that ground ball to get him out of this inning, and because Gordon will be out in front of it.
He pops it up. This will head back into the seats and back out of play.
I'm not sure what that was, but the velocity was 87, but it was up. And the key was to get that pitch down.
And Jackson could use a ground ball right now, although he did pitch out of a jam in the third when the first two men reached. He got a strikeout, pop up fly ball. Trying to protect a 2-run lead here in the fourth with the tying runs on for the Royals. Driven in the air to center field. Granderson cruising over. Lots of room out there for Curtis. Runner will tag from second. Throw comes back into second base as Callaspo moves up. 2 outs. And now it's up to Yuniesky Betancourt. Betancourt walked in the third. Royals have had some guys shuffle through that shortstop position. We talked about Mike Aviles, who is on the disabled list. Betancourt playing now. Tony Pena Jr. is actually being converted to a pitcher these days, and he's back in A-ball to kind of take advantage of his arm.
They have themselves a shortstop now.
And it's rolled to short. Looks like they'll get out of another jam. Santiago throws him out on the side, retired. Nicely done by Edwin Jackson. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. It's 4-2 Detroit. Runs in the month of August.
Big Daddy, Cecil Fielder.
Well, it's not Mickey York. But it's Rudy York. I don't know what Mickey's high for 1 month is, but it's not 18. 18 for Rudy York back in 1937. There's Rudy.
I told you he didn't have a statue.
No, but he's kind of statuesque right there. 10 years in a Tigers uniform, and Rudy York hit 239 home runs for Detroit. Great hitter. All right, here come the Tigers now as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Alex Avila, Brandon Inge, and Ramon Santiago in the bottom of the fourth inning. That skips away from the catcher Pena to the backstop. 2-0 on Alex. Coach Shaver has given up at least one in every inning so far. Avila struck out back in the second. The 2-0 pitch, and he hammers it to right center field. Down, a base hit Over to plate is Martin, and Avila with a leadoff single. So the Tigers start something again. Hits starting to pile up now. That is the 8th Tigers hit. Van Slykeson is here already. Here's Brandon Inge. Sinking low and away, 1-0. Inge struck out back in the second. One of the 3 that Hochevar put up in that inning. Of course, the Santiago home run got the Tigers the lead at that point. They went on to add 1 more in the third. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on Brandon Inge. Of course, Inge hit the walk-off last night. The last walk-off home run that he hit before that one was back in 2007, also against the Kansas City Royals. Rolled foul. Here's last night's.
He got him a 2-1 fastball from Ramon Colon that was up around his neck and got a hold of
it. And the celebration at home plate. They hammered him good. Brandon admits that when he's on the other end of that, he likes to get in as many shots as he can. Last night they took it out on him.
They got him back last night.
1 ball, 2 strikes. No matter how much it hurts to get pounded like that, it has to be a great feeling at home plate. Ending a ball game. One-two pitch. Good block by Pena.
He's done a lot of that already today. He has blocked a lot of those breaking balls in the dirt. As a pitcher, you appreciate it. It gives you confidence to throw it down there when you know you've got a guy that will do whatever he can do to keep it in front of him. That one looked like it hit him in his left bicep.
Two on Brandon Inge. Right back slowly to the mound. Hochevar will fire to second. Here comes the relay, not in time.
Great slide by the youngster. Aggressive slide by Avila. He was trying to knock Cayaspo out in the left field. It's a great slide.
And the sidestep saved him. Otherwise, he would have knocked him into left field.
Just by him disrupting his timing prevents them from getting 2. I don't know if they get Inge anyway. Ball wasn't hit all that hard, but the footwork that Cayaspo needed to get out of the way of the aggressive slide didn't allow him to get anything on his throw back to first base.
Here comes Santiago. He homered back in the second. Little parts of the game that sometimes, you just don't pay that much attention to. I mean, you're so focused on the throw coming back to first base, but a good hard slide like that could have forced that ball into the dirt and maybe saved Inge at first base. Who knows? But
yep,
that's how you play the game. Ball outside to Santiago. Looks like the Royals do have some action in their bullpen now as Hochevar pitches here in the fourth inning, and he's thrown 76 pitches. Bruce Chen is tuning up. The venerable and veteran Bruce Chen. The 1-0 is a ball outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, for Trey Hillman, it has been a season that started with a little bit of promise early on in the year. They played well in the month of April, but this is a Royals team that is way behind in the standings. Kansas City came in last place in the Central with just 45 victories this year and 70 losses now, despite the efforts from Zach Greinke last night. The 2-1. There's the strike. Two and two. Hochevar about to throw his 80th pitch, and it's a bouncing ball to the right side. It's going to get through. A base hit. Inge will go to second and stop there. And Santiago now 2 for 2. Tigers continue to hit Hochevar. 9 Tigers hits in this game, and now they're again threatening to score in the 4th inning here.
John Gibbons, the bench coach for Trey Hillman. John has managerial experience with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Granderson looks at a ball inside, 1-0.
And that has been part of the problem for Hochevar today, as he's fallen behind a lot of these Tigers hitters. And they've gotten themselves in some real nice, friendly hitters counts. Predictable counts.
Talking about the Royals record, they finished above 500 in 2003. That was the last time they were above 500. But the last year that they finished above 500 before that was 93.
Tony Pena was their manager that year and won Manager of the Year.
The 03 season, yeah. McRae was the manager in 93. So, boy, they haven't had too many winning seasons in the last couple of decades. And they will not finish 500 this year. On track right now to finish well below 500, 45 and 70 this year. 1-2. Fouled off. Curtis in this one is 0 for 2. Randy last night had a big game, was 2 for 3. 23 homers along with Cabrera, along with Inge. They are all tied for the team lead. Jackson has settled in nicely after that 2-run first. Inside as he backs him out of there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Minnesota lost today, but the Chicago White Sox, they won. They beat Oakland. Breaking ball that Granderson did not chase. 3-2. So with 2 men on here and 1 out, Granderson awaiting a 3-2 pitch. Do they start the runners?
I wouldn't start him, but Jim makes those decisions. And too much can go wrong here. And Granderson does not ground into many double plays anyway.
3-2 pitch, runners go, and it's swung on, grounded slowly toward first base. Butler charging, tough play, safe. Inge will hold at third. He thought about coming home. Hochevar couldn't quite get there in time, and so the bases are loaded.
Curveball here from Hochevar, and he got Granderson out in front off the end of the bat. Looked like this ball almost got stuck in Butler's hand when he tried to flip it to Hochevar. He just kind of flipped it up. He got caught, and then he flipped it in the air, and Hochevar simply ran past the ball. Easy, Brandon. Take a look at the flip here. Butler still learning the finer points of playing first base, but he's made huge signs at getting better at that position for sure.
So the meeting on the mound will be broken up now by Paul Schreiber. They have had Bruce Chen warming up. Polanco is coming up with only one out and the bases full, and the Tigers have a chance to bust this one open a bit. Placido doubled in his last at bat and scored back in the third. And that double by Polanco snapped an 0 for 15 stretch for Placido. Hochevar taking his time, and now Polanco steps out on it. Leadoff single by Avila. He was forced at second by Inge, and then base hits by Santiago and Granderson.
Since Polanco has put on a Tigers uniform, he's hitting about 340 in these types of situations.
One grand slam in his career, 307 with the bases full.
And that's back to 2005.
They're loaded up against Hochevar. And that's sliced to right field. On a line, Tien is there. Inge will tag, and he is going to hold up as the throw comes straight to Brian Pena. And there are two outs.
We had two things for Brandon holding up there. One, Tien in right field has a real good throwing arm. And two, you know, Brandon's knees are a little gimpy right now. He's not running at full strength. Therefore, and Gene Lamont basically told him to stay there.
So it'll take a two-out hit from Cleats, who had a single in his first at bat. Tigers got two in the first, one in the second, one in the third. Foul straight back. 5 for 9 with the bases loaded. Last Tiger grand slam this year was recently, July the 21st against Seattle. Maglio hit the slam. Tigers this year have hit 6 grand slam home runs. There's Maglio. His last one was on the 21st. Not playing tonight. Way high. 1 ball, 1 strike on Thomas. Cleats grand slam was on June the 7th against the Angels. It was off Jason Bulger in the 8th inning. Here's the 1-1. 1-2 now on Thomas. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pena again making a key stop. Tigers have 3 hits in this inning. They've loaded the bases, trying to break open a 4-2 game. Hochevar very methodical here in this inning. Has slowed down the pace. And the 2-2. Line drive, left field, slicing, foul. That might have cleaned him up.
Pretty good swing there by Cleat, who has started to shorten up his swing once he's gotten 2 strikes on him. That will help you from striking out. Nice, easy, short stroke here by Cleat. Real nice concentration.
Now the crowd getting into it. Another big crowd here tonight. Tigers have had some great crowds this year. Outside, and now it's going to go full at 3-2, and no place to put Thomas. Hochevar sweating even more now. Cabrera waiting on deck. Got him, strike 3. Took it looking on the outside corner, and the Tigers will leave him loaded here in the 4th. 4th strikeout of the game for Hochevar, and it's a huge one. And so far so good tonight for the Tigers. And Rod, early in this game, Jackson gave up a 2-run homer in the first, but boy, he's really settled in nicely to this one.
Well, I thought he would come out pitching more in this game than he has in the last few times he's gone out there. He's mixed in some changeups, he's missed in some breaking balls, and that's kept them off his fastball.
Offensively, this team now perking up. They had just the 1 run, obviously the home run by Inge last night, but they've gotten to Hochevar early in this game.
They like hitting in this yard, and Hochevar has kind of tipped his hand in this game. He's thrown the Tigers lots of breaking balls. Therefore, when he's gotten himself in a situation where he really needs to get to that breaking ball to get the out, he's already shown the Tigers that pitch, and they're not missing it. He has thrown quite a few breaking balls in this game.
Meanwhile, Jackson pitching with a 2-run lead. Goes to work here in the 5th inning, facing David DeJesus. That's drilled in the air to center field, but Granderson going back on it. Is he going to get there? No. He stopped as if to think he was going to catch that ball. DeJesus is going to try for three. They got a shot. Here comes the throw, and he's gone. David DeJesus, who leads the American League in triples, got greedy. And a perfect relay nailed him.
And this ball right over the head of Granderson, but Granderson gets up and fires the ball in to, I believe, Santiago, and Santiago fires a strike to Inge at third. Santiago's got that real strong arm, but the key to the play is Granderson hit that first cutoff, man. If Granderson somehow bounces the ball to Santiago or throws the ball over the head of Santiago, then DeJesus is safe at third. That's why it's important to always hit that cutoff man if you're an outfielder as quickly as you can.
Boy, did he right there in the relay from Santiago on one hop. Inge with the tag.
Santiago's got a plus arm for a shortstop. He's got a really good throwing arm and very accurate with it.
There's Mitch Meyer with one out. Base is empty. Meyer in the ball game, a single and a strikeout. First round pick back in 2003 of the Royals. Went to Toledo, played in the MAC, University of Toledo, and rips one right by Edwin Jackson into center. 1 on, 1 out. Now the middle of the lineup coming up. DeJesus still breathing hard after trying to get his 9th triple of the year. Here's Butler. Billy hit a 2-run homer back in the first. Ball one. Low. 2-0. Alex Avila behind the plate in this one here tonight, catching Edwin Jackson. We were in Boston the other day, and you see that mask Avila is wearing? It is a different type of mask. It is actually made of titanium, which makes it much lighter. And Avila says that a couple of companies are starting to manufacture those now. But he says it's a lot lighter, it's less cumbersome. And we actually picked it up the other day, and it was light as a feather. So they just continue to make progress on all of the equipment. Sleeker.
He also has both of his shoulders protected. Usually you just see the catcher with his throwing shoulder protected. But he's got both of his protected with that chest protector he has on.
If I'm sitting behind there, I'd want my entire body protected. My elbows, my knees, my shoulders.
It's tough duty.
It is.
It is tough duty.
Three and one. Runner going. And there is ball 4. So Jackson now working into another jam here in the 5th inning. He has walked his 2nd of the game. Tigers have 10 hits, 7 for the Royals. It is 4-2 Detroit. But another scoring threat now for Kansas City as Mike Jacobs will settle in. 66 pitches for Edwin Jackson. Here's Jacobs, who is 0 for 2, and he has not had quite the type of year that I think the Royals anticipated that he would have had. Based on his numbers last year, Jacobs says he's feeling more and more comfortable now as the second half rolls on, but changing leagues has really been a huge adjustment for him. He was saying you spend 4 or 5 years in one league and all of a sudden you face new pitchers, a different guy every single night, and it's been a slow adjustment.
It is that way for some players.
Rick Knapp coming out to the mound to have a chat with Jackson. Things are quiet right now in the Detroit bullpen. Jacobs especially has had trouble with Tigers pitching this year. 2 for 30 against Detroit this season. But he also feels that he's got a shot to lead his team in home runs and RBIs by the time the season is over. He would need a very strong last month and a half. Two and 0. Three balls, no strikes on Jacobs, who has power and plenty of it. 32 home runs last year as a member of the Florida Marlins. And now Gene Lamont wants to get the bullpen working. Ayaspo waiting on deck. He's taking all the way. It's a strike. 3-1. Edwin stranded a couple of runners in the third. He stranded 2 more in the fourth, and now 2 more on here in the fifth. So he's been pitching out of a few jams already tonight. Fouled straight back. 3-2. And the Tigers have a couple of guys warming up now. Futeni is the lefty, and Eddie Bonine is the right-hander.
I guess with Bonine up, that means Galarraga's good to go tomorrow.
Galarraga is officially in the game notes as starting the game tomorrow. So Mr. Bonine working out of the pen tonight. That's good news. Because, quite honestly, Armando looked like he was really run down in the flight back home. And
looked like he lost about 10 to 15 pounds as well.
Saw him before the game today, and he looked a whole lot better. So Leland will run him out there tomorrow.
It's going to be hot, too.
It's going to be in the 90s tomorrow, isn't it?
It's going to be smoking hot tomorrow.
Drink your fluids.
So if you're coming to the game, hydrate yourself good tonight. And don't forget your sunscreen.
Pulled on the ground and through. It's a base hit. Meyer coming to third. They're going to stop him there. He was trying to score, and it's quickly fired back in by Clee Thomas. Mitch Meyer looked like he wanted to come around to score, but was given the stop sign.
Well, as a third base coach, all you can ask is for the guy that's running toward your base to give you an opportunity to send him home if you choose to do so. Meyer was doing that, but Dave Owens, the third base coach, did not want to run into an out from the strong throwing arm that Clee Thomas has. Cleet's got quite a few assists already. He's coming hard, and then he has to put on the brakes because he was stopped by Dave Owens.
Here's Alberto Callaspo now with the bases loaded.
Yeah, he's one of their best hitters. Doesn't strike out either.
Yeah, Callaspo, in fact, is the toughest to fan now in the American League. And he's 1 for 2 tonight with a base hit. But he's also grounded into 12 double plays this year. Sits safely in 9 of his last 10. They've got Meyer and Butler and Jacobs on the bases. Bouncing ball hit toward the second baseman. Polanco will miss the tag on the runner. They'll throw to first for the out, and they're going to call him on the baseline and get the double play. Trey Hillman's going to come out and argue this, but Edwin Jackson does it again. Another Houdini act as he pitches out of a bases-loaded jam and holds on to the 4-2 lead. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. The Tigers now as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. The double play ends the rally for Kansas City. Tigers lead at 4-2. Miguel Cabrera leads it off. Then Carlos Guillen and Marcus Thames facing Luke Hochevar. And Cabrera rolls one foul down the third base line. 1 ball and 1 strike. Callaspo hits into the big double play. It's a good play by Polanco that once he realized the runner was out of the baseline to complete that double play. The 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike on Cabrera. 2 hits and an RBI plus a run scored. It'll go foul down the right field line. So Miguel now with 68 RBIs to lead this Tigers team. Of course, he led the league in home runs last year. The 2-2 is on the ground, foul again, third base side. Fouled away again. So Cabrera driving up that pitch count for Hochevar, which has now reached 102. These were a lot of pitches early. Of course, Tigers had that big first inning.
That's a lot of pitches for 4 innings.
Giving up a lot of hits, 10 hits. Another foul, back out of play. Amongst another big crowd here tonight at the ballpark, 37,000 plus, and they will be treated to fireworks after the ball game tonight as they were last night. They keep packing them in here. Watching a first place team in the Central. Again, the 2-2 on the ground, back up the middle and under the glove of Betancourt into center field, and Cabrera has his 3rd hit tonight.
In between innings, Trey Hillman and the first base coach, Runcie Kuntz, were talking about what Joe West told Hillman. Rusty apparently did not feel like Jacobs ran out of the baseline, but that's a good heads-up play by Polanco. And if you're Jacobs, if you could do that all over again, what you simply would do was stop and start going back toward the bag and then allow Polanco to throw the ball to first and get yourself in a pickle, because the run would have scored then. By him running out of the baseline, it was a double play. Run didn't score.
He was clearly out of the baseline.
But the play clearly starts with Polanco.
That's driven deep into right field. This one might get out of here to the track, to the wall, and gone. A 2-run shot for Carlos Guillen. And Jackson has more offense to work with. Number 4 for Carlos. RBI 17 and 18.
And Carlos got a fastball right in his wheelhouse. He loves the baseball down and in. And he just kind of galls that ball out of here. And Carlos knew it was gone as soon as he hit it. That last replay in slow motion, courtesy of Lincoln Mercury Exmo.
Souvenir City on that fly ball from Carlos Guillen. His 4th home run of the season. That's going to knock out Luke Hochaver. A wall side windows pitching change. Kansas City goes to the bullpen, and we'll be back. Well, tomorrow night at Petco Park in San Diego, the USA's best high school players take the national stage. It's the 7th annual Aflac All-American High School Baseball Classic. Former Astro star Craig Biggio is in the booth as part of the live HD telecast. Game time 8 o'clock tomorrow, 8 p.m. here on Fox Sports Detroit. Bruce Chen is the new pitcher, and he will face Marcus Thames as the Tigers now lead at 6-2.
11th game this year that Chen has been in, and won his first game earlier. And it had been a long time in between victories for Chen. Years, as a matter of fact.
It is a long time. Signed a minor league contract on March 11th. Beginning the year in Omaha. 2-1 on Thames.
It's really fascinating at how the Tigers play at home versus how they play on the road.
Well, Jim Leyland has been asked to explain it many times this year. He's not been able to do it. I don't know that you can. I don't know that I can. I do know this. They seem to play with a lot more energy. Maybe it's the home crowds. I don't know. It's almost hit.
They will need to play better on the road if they're going to get to where they want to get to the next 6 weeks.
Well, if the Tigers win here tonight, they go to 20 over at home this year. Not too shabby. Swing and a miss. Marcus is out of there. One gone.
Well, this kind of illustrates it. 24 and 36 away from Comerica Park. And obviously all the numbers on the road are down from the numbers at home.
Vastly different. 290 risk at home, 222 on the road. That's a big stat right there. Tigers just completed that series in Boston, in which they hit 194 as a team. Avila slaps it foul, back out of play. Alex 1 for 2 in the ball game tonight, batting .438.
He's had a nice start to his big league career.
Chen drops in a breaking ball. 0-2. 12 Detroit hits in this game. We're only in the 5th inning. They have a pretty good shot to get to their season high if they keep this up. The hook misses high that time. Most hits in a game for Detroit, 19. They've done that twice. Carlos Guillen's 2-run homer here in the 5th has lengthened the lead. And Chen misses again.
I was talking about Chen, who got a win on August 6th versus Seattle. And you have to go all the way back to October 2nd of 2005 to when he got his last win.
That would have been with Baltimore that year. He won 13 games with the Orioles that year.
So we're talking almost 4 years.
Now, he was injured last year and did not play, but 3 years before that. So a walk.
20 starts in between those wins. Hey fans, join the Tigers tomorrow for an on-field photo day starting at 11 a.m. Take pictures of your favorite Tigers players on the field prior to the 105 game against the Royals. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or log on to tigers.com.
Here comes Brandon Inge. Inge 0 for 2. Takes the ball high, 1-0. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 2 in the fifth. The Tigers offense rolling pretty good right now. They've hit a couple of home runs, Santiago and Guillen, which means we're 1 short for Arby's.
It's been a while since they had some free Arby's.
I think of the last time we hit 3 homers in a game. Hand out that Arby's. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Little tapper right back to the mound. Chen fires to second. There's one, and no relay. Once again, it's Avila just hammering the defender.
You got to love that, though. He'll get some high fives when he gets back in that dugout. And that is an aggressive slide. You have to love that. And Callaspo knows he's coming. And look at Callaspo here. He's like, whoa, let me get out of the way. And this young boy is playing with some aggression.
Gibby would have been proud of those 2 slides tonight.
Yes, he would have been.
Exactly the way that he would go into second base. There's Al, his dad, the assistant general manager, vice president here with the Tigers. 0-1 on Santiago.
Callaspo needs to start to learn how to use that base to his advantage, like we see Polanco do on so many occasions, and you see other second basemen do around the league. He's shaking his head because he feels like he should have turned that double play there, but he couldn't get the throw off. because he was in a position where Avila was able to get to him. But what you do as a second baseman, you have to know who the base runner is first and foremost, and you have to use that base to your advantage. Simply step on the bag, back up behind the bag, and it's harder for the base runner to slide over the bag to get to you.
When we looked at that replay, I thought that Callaspo might have still had a chance to get rid of that ball before any contact was made, but I guess he feared throwing it away.
Or getting knocked into the outfield, one of the two.
Maybe that one is probably more accurate. Fouled straight back. 1-2 the count stays.
I got a lot of grief for not catching that.
Did you?
That foul ball that came up through this window last night.
See, I'm here to back you up on that, though, because that thing came in at least 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe 200 miles an hour. I'd be surprised if it wasn't 300 miles an hour.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm here to serve.
Thank you. Thank you for having my back.
2-2.
Yeah, but I was getting out of the way for sure.
Well, I don't blame you because that thing.
And I waited until it stopped rolling around, and then I picked it up when it stopped.
It's the only way to do it. 2-2 pitch is rolled toward third base. Foul ball. I was talking to Frank White before the game, the great Royals second baseman who was their color analyst on Royals television, and Frank said, the minute they stop paying me is the minute I stop catching those. They're not paying me anymore, so I'm not catching those. There's Frank.
And Frank had my back, too. He said we used to use gloves for those.
And boy, could he play, man.
He was sweet.
Runner going, and it's swung on and missed. And Santiago is outside, retired. Tigers lengthen the lead, though. They get a 2-run shot. Carlos goes deep, and it's 6-2. On Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by your Chrysler and Jeep Superstores and by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Back here in downtown Detroit, back at Comerica Park, Tigers in the lead. They have made a defensive change in this game. Ryan Rayburn will enter the fray now. He is the new left fielder, replacing Marcus Thames. And Edwin Jackson goes back to work. Here in the sixth inning, Tigers have extended their lead now. It's 6-2. Martin, Brian Pena, and Alex Gordon will hit in the top of the sixth. Jackson's 1-0, sinks low, 2 balls, no strikes. Boy, has Edwin pitched out of some big-time trouble tonight. He pitched out of a bases-loaded jam in the fifth inning. Got a big double play ball. It's fouled straight back, 2-1.
He has gotten some run support tonight, and which is what Edwin really has not gotten a lot of this year. It's fascinating to think that he has, in his last 11 starts, has just 2 wins.
That was a hot shot, hit to third, 1 gone. Yeah, and with any more run support, you know, he's looking at probably 12, 13 wins right now.
Easy.
The hard-throwing Ryan Perry is tuning up in the bullpen. Well, Jackson has been great when opponents come to the plate with runners in scoring position. Opponents batting just 175 against them, and he's done a great job of holding them at bay again tonight with their scoring opportunities. Brian Pena has a single and a ground out. Driven to right field and hit well. This one will get out into row one. It's a home run for Brian Pena. A line drive that just got out.
That was a seed.
And he's running around the bases like he just tripled to the gap. That's the quickest time home to home I've seen in a while.
He jumped all over that tailing fastball.
So it's a 6-3 game. Rick Knapp back on the phone. We'll see if Perry is ready. Jackson will face Alex Gordon. Wave and a miss. 0-1.
A nice changeup there to Gordon.
So the Royals now have 9 hits, 12 for Detroit. The 0-1 pitch.
How about that? Back-to-back changeups. Jackson can pitch when he wants to. He's got that slider. He hadn't thrown many of those today. It's been pretty much fastball, changeup, an occasional slider. I think that may have been one there.
Fouled away. Alex Gordon won the Golden Spikes Award his junior year at Nebraska. An outstanding hitter in college. The 1-2 is rolled foul. Number 1 pick of the Royals, and immediately, because of the position he played and left-handed sweep swing, was compared to George Brett. Looks like Perry and Fouté-Ni now are warming up. The 1-2 is outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away again. 79 games. That's how many Gordon missed this year with the hip surgery. Talk about all the injuries the Royals have had. They have had quite a few. There's another bouncing ball to third. Inge gobbles this one up off to his left. And there are 2 gone. And they're missing some big pieces, namely Guillen, their middle of the order hitter with a lot of power. Aviles is out. Coco Crisp, guy at the top of their lineup. And it has been a head-scratching type of a season for Trey Hillman. Now Yuniesky Betancourt. Talking a little bit earlier about the fact that Betancourt is manning a position now that Tony Pena Jr. could not keep because he couldn't hit, and so they have converted him to a pitcher. He is in the minor leagues. But Pena, boy, could he really pick it at short. I guess it just goes to show that at this level you do have to contribute something offensively.
Yes, and he's got a really good arm too. He's a guy that probably throws about 90 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, he pitched 1 inning against the Tigers in a blowout game and was throwing 90 miles an hour.
Granderson handles this one, and the side retired. The Royals get a run on the homer by Pena. We go to the bottom of the 6th.
Ramon Santiago got a breaking ball from Hochevar back in the second inning and played long ball. And then a couple of innings later, Carlos Guillen, first pitch swinging, got a fastball that was sinking, and it ran right into his wheelhouse, and he golfed it out of here to right field as well. Even side by side. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brew Crowers Lines.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Bruce Chen goes back to work now as we head to the bottom of the sixth inning, facing Curtis Granderson. Granderson has a hit. It was an infield single back in the fourth. One of 12 the Tigers have put up in this game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ripped into right. Base hit. 4 hits in the series for Granderson. 2 last night, 2 tonight. And the Tigers have 13 hits. We'll bring up Polanco. 6-3 Tigers have the lead. They've hit a couple of homers in this ball game tonight. Polly had a double back in the third and scored a run. 1 for 3. He's showing bunt. Strike 1. It's been a long time since Bruce Chen broke into the big leagues. 1998 when he began his big league career with Atlanta. Made a stop in Philly, then with the Mets in Montreal and Cincy and Houston. Here are his career numbers. A lot of different stops. Baltimore as well, and Texas.
Left-handed and breathing.
There's always a job available. The 0-1 pitch. Lifted to right field. It's going to be an easy play for Tien, and holding is Granderson.
Polanco has been playing pepper with the right fielder in this series. That's at least his 4th flyout to right field in this series, at least.
You're right, exactly 4. 2 tonight, 2 last night.
And 1 to center tonight. That's not Polanco's game. Polanco's game is usually line drives, although a couple of the balls he has hit to right field have been line drives, but they just crowd him so much because he doesn't have power in that direction.
Forgot to do something today that I really wanted to do, and that was ask Clee Thomas why he wears just 1 batting glove. In his right hand, the left hand, the top hand, he does not wear one.
That's what happens when you get old. You forget them things.
Oh, is that it? Now, wait a minute. Define old.
Stop it.
Define old here.
You just laid it up there. I had to do it.
That was late.
I had to do it.
Can't see anymore. Can't remember anymore. It's all true. 1 on, 1 out. Thomas tonight a single, fly ball, and a strikeout. Showing bunt, and he pops it up. And Pena won't get there. 0-1. Clee Thomas has knocked in 33. Tigers have the Royals for 1 more tomorrow, and then the much needed off day, which is coming up on Monday. The Tigers will have played 17 consecutive without a day off. When you play that type of schedule this time of the year, boy, it really starts to wear. It's one thing to play 17 straight in April or May.
I think Jim does an outstanding job of utilizing his entire roster, though. He tries to keep guys as fresh as possible. There's not one member down there on that bench that he's afraid to use.
Sometimes it's hard to take the horses out of the lineup, but you have to keep them fresh late in the season.
And I brought it up last night. It's hard sometimes in a 17-game stretch to make sure your bullpen stays intact, especially if you get a couple of starts where the starters don't go out there and stay a while. And they had a couple of those in that 17-game span.
And if that happens, then you have to consider carrying an extra pitcher. You got to dip down in the minor leagues.
They've done that a few times in the 17-game stretch. Dulce, Lambert, have come up and have gone back. Now Eddie Bonine's back.
By the way, Danny Bryant, our esteemed statistician tonight, tells us the last time we had free Arby's, not too long ago, July 29th against the Rangers, 4 home runs. Thought it was longer than that. At participating stores, of course. Fans unhappy with Chen as he continues to toss back to first base. Way high, 1-2 on Clete Thomas. Swing and a miss, and Thomas is out of there. 2 gone. Well, we've talked about how difficult it is in the month of August, and Jim Leland tells us how tough it is in the dog days.
I think it's that way for everybody, but you know, it doesn't detour you from what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, you don't. It's not like something that gets to you where you're so tired you don't want to do it. I mean, you're pumped up. I mean, I'm pumped up right now. We're in a pennant race, and it's August. It's hot, but it's great.
Yeah, it's a whole lot easier, I think, Rod, coming to the ballpark when you're standing atop of the standings as opposed to the bottom of the standings.
Yes, true.
Tigers 2 up right now. Chicago a winner, but these Royals came in way back.
Take a look at Jim here and what he's doing. He's talking to Granderson at first base. He's telling Granderson, you stay there. I don't want you to run. You stay there. Because if you run and you steal, then my big boy does not get to hit. So you just stay put at first base for now.
Nice pickup. Brandy not going anywhere. Pulled to third base off the glove of Gordon. It'll roll into short left field, and Granderson will pull into second and stop there.
You don't ever want the opposing team to have a nice parking spot to put your big boy. That would probably go as an air, but it was an absolute miss. Breaking ball, down and in, and Cabrera hit some of the hardest line drive just right at him. And I guess the play should be made, but it's hit awfully hard.
Looks like it went right off the heel of the glove, off his wrist. So the inning is still alive. Here's Carlos Guillen.
They've been giving out a lot of hits here today, though.
They're calling that one an error.
That's the right call.
E5. The error on Alex Gordon. Carlos Guillen with a big night. 2-run homer, RBI single. One ball, one strike. First error for either side in this ball game. The average now starting to climb a little bit for Guillen. He's up to the 240 range. 241 to be exact.
That is something I need to ask Carlos, I guess, as well, is when will he start to hit right-handed against left-handed pitching?
Apparently he's not quite there yet. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Now, if I forget to do that tomorrow, then you can just simply call me old.
I'll do it right now. You're old. We're both driving that same ship, unfortunately. Two and one. Driven to left center field. That is a gapper. It'll be cut off by DeJesus. He gets there quickly. And Granderson will score. 2-out hit. Tigers get that run back. It is 7-3. What a night for Carlos Guillen.
That's his first hit against a left-hander hitting left-handed as well. And he's had a few at-bats. But he stayed in nicely here on Chin and got him a fastball up and simply didn't try to do a whole lot with it. When you allow the ball to get that deep in the strike zone, you're not trying to force the issue. You're simply trying to hit something that direction. And with 2 outs, Granderson was off and running, which meant there was going to be no play on him at home plate.
maybe Carlos doesn't have to hit right-handed against lefties. That was a good result. 4 RBIs tonight for Guillen. Ryan Rayburn gets his first at bat. Took over defensively for Marcus Thames. 7-3 Detroit, and their 14th hit. It's fouled away. Chavers started this one and had to be relieved by Chen in the 5th inning. So that error by the third baseman Gordon turns out to be a big one. Kept the inning alive, and the Tigers capitalize. The 1-1. 2-1 on Ryan Rayburn. Tomorrow for the series finale, it will be Galarraga for the Tigers, and he'll face Kyle Davies. Day game here tomorrow. Then the off day on Monday. High towering fly ball left center field, and Mitch Meyer coming over to retire the side, but the Tigers get another run. We played 6. It's now 7-3 Detroit.
Sweatshirts and a whole lot more. Get your Tigers gear straight from the source at tigers.com shop.
How about that text poll question tonight? Here's the update. Which Tiger had the best rookie season? And it looks like Mark Fidrich is kind of running away with it. Not really. Verlander's pretty close. You can text A, B, C, or D to 37338. Or FSDET. Verlander burst onto the scene, as did Fidrich. Bobby C is the new pitcher now for Detroit.
He's had a nice year. He's had a nice few years with the Tigers. Opponent's batting average, that bottom note, just .226 against Bobby. And that's one of the reasons why he has been so effective. He's been able to locate that fastball in the low 90s and throwing a lot more fastballs this year than in the past.
David DeJesus bending out of the way of that one. 1 ball and 1 strike.
He overthrew that fastball, the youngster, Avila. It was set up on the outside part of the plate. And Bobby tried to get a little extra. When you try to get extra, your body gets out in front, which causes the arm to lag and the arm angle to drop. And that's when you get those fastballs that are up and in to the left-handed hitters. Bobby thought that was a strike, and it looked good. Paul Schreiber said no.
You know, there really hasn't been much of a difference between what righties and lefties have been able to do against Bobby C. I mean, it's almost identical. 229 right-handers, 224 left-handers. He's been just about equally effective against both sides. He's fallen behind here 3-1.
By him doing so well against right-handers this year, that allows Jim to leave him in when, say, there's a left-hander like De Jesus now, and if there was a right-hander up next, he would not have to go to his bullpen. He could simply leave Bobby in there to get to that next left-hander.
It's popped up right side of the infield for Polanco, drifting a little bit. One gone. De Jesus is out. Now Mitch Meyer. So Edwin Jackson goes 6 innings tonight. He surrenders 3 runs, 9 hits. Tigers came into this one having won Jackson's last 7 starts at home. Edwin was 5-0 in that stretch. And they're right now sitting on a 4-run lead in the 7th inning. Meyer a couple of hits. Strike 1. He's continuing to swing the hot bat. He came in at 367 in his last 12. 2 of the 9 Royals hits tonight. Another strike, going 2. Well, Bobby C. has seemingly found himself a niche here. When he broke in with Tampa, he had spent all of his minor league career as a starter, but at the big league level, he had been pitching pretty much exclusively in relief. And since joining the Tigers, they have leaned on him heavily the last couple of years, and actually including this year for the last 3 seasons. Pitched in a lot of games. Lined and caught by Brandon Inge. Tough to get it by him. 2 gone. Going to leave it up to Butler. Billy Butler has a 2-run homer and a walk. Back his 2-run shot got the Royals out in front in the very first inning off Edwin Jackson, but the Tigers wasted little time in scoring 2 in the bottom of the first. Tigers, in fact, have scored in every inning but the 4th tonight. 1-0. Butler as a hitter has been much better at home than he has been on the road.
I saw that.
I mean, it's like 100 points different. 345 at home. 1 ball, 1 strike. Also looks like they have found Butler a position, first base. That was an issue when he first came up. 2-1. Sees 2-1 pitch is fouled straight back. 2-2 on Billy Butler. Butler, the Florida native. A lot of Florida natives in this series. Greinke last night. Cleet Thomas. Rayburn. Billy's out of the Jacksonville area. The 2-2. Slap to right field, hit well. On the move, Thomas reaches and makes the catch. Takes an extra base hit away from Billy Butler. A 1-2-3 inning for Bobby C. with a little bit of help from Clete Thomas. The first pitch at 1 o'clock, Tigers baseball, presented by Bell Tire tomorrow afternoon on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox Sports Detroit HD. And there is your pitching matchup tomorrow.
Armando Galarraga going up against Kyle Davies.
Got a new pitcher in this one right now, and it's left-hander Ron Mayhay.
And 40th game now that Mayhay has appeared in for the Kansas City Royals. Has 4 holds. Earned run average is shade over 4. 34 strikeouts, however, in 39 innings. He's not a power pitcher, but he's got some deception. He's got some movement. And he keeps the ball out of the center of the plate. He gets some swings and misses.
Alex Avila leads it off. It'll be Avila, Inge, and Santiago as we head now to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Take a look at how Mayhay hides the ball in the stretch, which is where he starts. Just kind of sneaks it in the glove.
What if he has his grip before he puts it in the glove? Or if he gets his grip in the glove? Why don't we take a look?
That's a changeup grip right there. We'll see if he changes it.
Yep. 2-1. Avila had a single in the 4th. He walked in the 5th. Two on Alex. Alex played locally high school here for a year at De La Salle before finishing off his high school career in Florida. There's Mayhay changing the grip again, and it's slapped foul back out of play. 2-2 the count stands. Had a lot of his buddies from De La Salle here for his big league debut in his first game in the major leagues. 3-2 now on Avila. Inge and Santiago 7-8-9 in the Detroit lineup here. Facing Ron Mayhay. Swung on and belted way back into the air in right field. This one is gone. Alex Avila has done it again, his second big league homer. kid's on fire.
All Dad could do is shake his head and laugh. One too many fastballs for Mayhay, and he got one right in the wheelhouse of the youngster Avila, and he absolutely clobbered it.
390 feet on that home run to make it 8-3 Tigers. Avila has his second big league home run. And both of them have come here at Comerica Park. Making it look easy, and it's making it look like Arby's too. We're thinking Arby's. That is the third Tigers home run. Santiago, Avila, and Guillen. Arby's tomorrow. Participating Arby's. Bring the box score in. Free regular roast beef. Bouncing ball left side. Gordon off to his left.
It's always a good thing for Dad. After church, stop by Arby's. You ain't got to spend your money.
That sounds really good right now, actually. Well, there's a big old home run hitter talking to Avila. He's got a ways to catch Cabrera, though. Here's Santiago. To left field for De Jesus. 2 outs. We'll bring up Curtis Granderson. Curtis has 2 more hits tonight. Both singles. He's also scored a run. 15 total hits now for Detroit, which is just 4 shy of their season high of 19. Threw that one by Grandy. 0-1. So again, the Tigers keep that string going. They've scored in every inning but the 4th. 3 straight frames now. Scored in the first 3 and in the last 3 in this game. Here's Mayhay's 1-1. 1-2 on Curtis Granderson. Jammed him and he popped it up. And that is that for the Tigers. So the Tigers tonight have us thinking Arby's. 3 home runs. Santiago, Guillen, and Avila. It is the top of the 8th inning. Tigers lead it 8-3. Hey, check that out. Nice.
That's pretty cool.
That takes some big time coordination.
That is pretty cool.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, here come the Royals now as we go to the 8th inning. It'll be Jacobs. Tigers have added one more run in the home run by Avila. 8-3 ball game. Alex going deep for the second time. What a spark he's provided.
He has done that.
And really, when you consider it, Dane Sardina really wasn't able to add a whole lot offensively. And Dusty Ryan, I think, for the most part, not what the Tigers had hoped from that backup catcher spot offensively. But boy, Avila has burst onto the scene. The 0-1 is a breaking ball strike. 0-2. Mike Jacobs, Alberto Callaspo, and Mark Teahan. Jacobs had a single in his last at bat in the 5th inning. Good pitch on the inside corner. See you later. Bobby has his first strikeout. 4 in a row. He's retired. 1 gone in the 8th. He's going to bring up Callaspo. Bobby's looked good tonight. Callaspo a single, but he bounced into a huge double play back in the 5th. The Royals had Jackson on the ropes a couple of times, but Edwin was able to just battle back each time, including the 5th inning with the bases loaded. He got Callaspo to hit into a double play.
Edwin doesn't panic when there's runners in scoring position, and you brought up the numbers earlier. They are hitting less than 200 against Edwin when they are in scoring position, so he has the uncanny ability to get out of those jams when they've been created. And that takes a special pitcher. And when the game speeds up, you have to be able to slow the game back down again into your favor.
175 is what opponents were batting against Edwin coming into this game with men in scoring position. Edwin's final line tonight looks like that.
92 total pitches. Didn't need a lot of strikeouts today.
In line for the win if the Tigers can put this one away. Two and two. Callaspo has hit safely in 9 of his last 10. He has been one of their consistent hitters. He came in at 304. He's had a lot more power this year. 7 home runs this season. And when you consider he came into 09 with 0 career home runs in 399 at bats, 0. And he's got 7 this year in a little over 400 at bats. Two and two. Now run it full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mark Teahan waiting on deck for Kansas City. Tigers have really handled the season series well against the Royals, having won 7 of the 10 between these two teams coming into play tonight. Three-two pitch on the ground to second base for Polanco. 2 gone. And that will leave it up to Mark Teahan. Teahan is 0 for 3. Jackson struck him out a couple of times. Edwin Jackson, by the way, held the Royals to 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. So he's even improved now on that number that he had coming in. Opponents batting just 173 against him with men in scoring position. Awfully good. Little slice job toward third. That'll go foul, and the count now is 1-1 on Tien. Royals must have thought they were off and rolling tonight when they got the 2-run homer from Butler in the first inning, but they haven't scored since the Pena homered in the 6th. And that's been it for them. 3 runs. Good pitch. He had Tien buckling there. 1-2.
Bobby has started to do a little bit more of that. Instead of simply throwing the breaking ball down the middle and ending up on the outside corner, he starts it at the left-handed batter, and they give up on it, and it catches the inner third of the plate.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Just got a piece of it to stay alive. After the off day Monday, Seattle coming to town. Tigers will take on the Mariners for 3, and then it's back on the West Coast. We'll go through Oakland. They'll take on Anaheim. And I believe that is the last trip out west for Detroit. Chopper hit slowly back towards second. Polanco charging. And that is going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Bobby C faces 6 batters, retires all of them. Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. $18.49. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary tonight with the Tigers on top 8-3 in the 8th inning. Guillen 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs tonight. He's homered. Jackson went 6 innings, and Cabrera with a 3-hit night. He has scored a couple of runs. And it is all totaled up to a big lead for Detroit as Polanco puts a charge into one, but Meyer is going to run it down in the gap in right center. One gone. So again, Polanco goes out to right field.
Yeah.
Although the center fielder caught it. Right center.
Probably needs a little bit more top hand, which will allow him to hit some line drives in that direction.
Here's Cleet Thomas. Cleet tonight is 1 for 4, had a single and a run scored in the very first inning. Nothing after that, though. Mayhay is out there again for his second inning of work. He gave up a home run to Avila back in the 7th. Otherwise, he's retired everybody since, 4 in a row. The 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cleat. Mayhay now is 38 years old. He's been around a while. Long while. Began with the Boston Red Sox. That was back in 1997. Also with the Cubs in Texas and Atlanta. The 2-1. 3 balls, 1 strike on Cleat Thomas. There's Cabrera waiting on deck. Mayhay started his career as an outfielder, his professional career as an outfielder in the Boston organization, and then was converted to the mound in 1996. And he lost it. Thomas gets a 1-out walk. We'll bring up Miguel Cabrera. Brandon Lyon heating up in the Detroit bullpen. Tigers 3 outs away from running their record at 20 over the 500 mark at home. That misses low, 1-0. Also trying to get their 62nd win overall. The Yankees have the most wins in the American League with 73.
They are 30 games over 500.
How did that happen? I mean, when did they get there?
They just got hot. I mean, we saw a little bit of that when we were there, although we should have and could have very easily taken 2 of those 3 games after the All-Star break.
There's a high drive, hit deep into left field. This one might get out of here, and it does. It's gone, a home run for the big fella. Cabrera hits his 24th. So Cabrera gets a 4-hit game. And it's 10-3. 1 away from the 200 plateau.
Cabrera came out early and was taking some extra batting practice. I guess he just wasn't feeling comfortable. And apparently he has found it here tonight.
380 feet worth. Cabrera now with a 3 RBI night. That's an even 70 driven in.
I guess he'll go tell the youngster Avila now.
That's right.
You can do it, and I can do it too.
Yeah, they were having a little chat after Alex hit his.
Don't hurt Santiago now.
Santiago hit one out tonight.
He sure did.
2-0 on Guillen.
The ball has absolutely been flying here at Comerica Park. Last 3 home stands, it has been flying out of here.
That, by the way, is the 3rd 4-hit game for Cabrera. And he could have had a 5-hit game because the other time, or the time he didn't reach base with a hit, was an error on the 3rd baseman Gordon.
He about undressed the 3rd baseman Alex Gordon.
Line drive caught by Betancourt. Carlos starting to square the ball up now. He has had a big night. He scorched that one as well. 2 gone. Here's Rayburn, 0 for 1 in the game. 16 Tigers hits. And again, they've scored in every frame but the 4th. Pulled on the ground to third. Gordon gobbles it up. He's going to take care of the side, but not before the Tigers get 2 more. The homer by Miguel Cabrera. On to the 9th we go. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Last call now for the Kansas City Royals as we go to the 9th inning. Couple of defensive changes for Detroit. Adam Everett is the new shortstop, and he will move Santiago from short to second base. Polanco is out of the game. 10-3 in favor of Detroit. Brandon Lyon is your new pitcher.
45th game now that Lyon has been in. He comes in 6-4 with 8 holds. Really good earned run average. And look at that bottom note. Opponent's batting average 203 against Brandon Lyon this year. What a job he has done lately.
And he'll try and get the final 3 outs of this one. Give the Tigers another home win. And the first man to face him is Brian Pena, who hit a long ball in his last at bat. The home run came in the 6th inning. So Bobby C goes 2 innings and retires all 6 batters that he sees. Lions 1-0 is a strike on the outer edge. 1-1. Bouncing ball hit slowly towards short. Everett is tested immediately. 1 gone. It's 9 straight Royals that have gone down since the Pena home run. Here comes the number 8 hitter, Alex Gordon. He's 0 for 3, bounced out his last time up. Hit hard to second base, right at Santiago, and there are 2 gone. 10 straight have gone down for the Royals, and their last chance is going to be a former Tiger, Josh Anderson, who's going to pinch hit for Betancourt. Anderson, who started the year with Detroit, is now wearing Kansas City colors, and the crowd of better than 37,000 on their feet.
In the last couple of years, Anderson has worn 4 different uniforms. Astros, Braves, Tigers, now Kansas City.
And he takes ball 1. 235 this season. 2 balls, no strikes. There's a strike as Anderson looks it into the glove. 2-1. Two-one pitch. Lifted back out of play, and now Lyon has reduced this game to a single strike. 2-2 on Josh Anderson. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. The last 11 Royals go down in a row, and another impressive victory tonight.
And they play really good baseball here at Comerica Park, and they just want to keep it going. The White Sox also won their game today, so Tigers will stay at 2.5